Hi, this is Ashley Jackson talking about the technology demonstration assignment. So today we are going to do My Life as a Book comprehension review. The reason why I chose this is because my students have been reading My Life as a Book and we have been reading up to about chapter 7. And making it a Kahoot review makes it more fun for them to interact and have being competitive. So I'm going to show you a couple different views of how this is created and how this is done. So if I click here and I hit preview, this way we'll be able to see it as the student view over here with the phone, and this way on this screen it would be my view as the teacher. So I'm going to do it as classic, so it's just player versus player. And so students are going to go and type in kahoot.it, and when the game comes up, they have a pin to type in. And remember, so like every time that this is done, the pin is different. So you have to be careful of getting that pin ahead of time for the students. So I type in the pin over here in the phone and then hit enter. And then the students are going to type in their first name with their last initial, just so I know that each student is there, and in case you have a student that has the same first name as somebody else. Then the student will say, okay, go, and they'll see their name pop up on the teacher's screen. So when we get started, students will be able to see the screen as you're going through, but they have different answers to choose from. And so when they're choosing from, they'll have a triangle that would equal red, the diamond is blue, the circle is gold or yellow, and the square is green. Students will need you to be able to see their screen, to see your screen, because all they're going to see is the colors on their screen. All right, so we're going to get started. So this is a comprehension book review for My Life as a Book. All right, the first question was, who is the main character in the book? Was it Derek, Matt, Susan, James, or Pedro? So the students are going to choose on their screen which they think is the main character. When they have all selected, since there's only one student in this, it will come up with the results, and you can see that that student got it correct and that they receive points as they go through. The quicker that they get points, the quicker they select, the more points they get, and if they are correct, they get some points. So you can see that the student got it correct. The main character of the book is Derek. And so the points start tallying up. The teacher can then hit next. For the second question, what doesn't Derek like to do? He doesn't like to do homework. He does like to play pranks. He doesn't like to read. He doesn't like to draw. So again, the students are going to select their answer. And this time you can see that the student got it wrong. So at this point, as a teacher, I would go through and see, what they selected wrong, and we talk about it. So the student selected, he does like to play pranks, which is correct that he does like to play pranks, but the question asked, what doesn't Derek like to do? So he has to be really careful of how you're reading the question and how you're answering the question. So he doesn't like to read. Okay, so then students say that they're same points because they don't receive points if they get it wrong. And this one is true or false. Carly is different from Derek and Matt because she likes to read and do anything to look good in front of the teacher. Right? The student will be able to select their true or false on their screen. And this is true. So you see that the student receives some more points, and they're going to go ahead up on the podium. And we keep going through. What is Derek's favorite thing to do? Read books, draw, write poems, or hang out with his friends. And his favorite thing to do is draw. Okay. As we go through, the students will, start comprehending the story a little bit more. And this way it's competitive. And this is double the points. All right. What did Derek find in the attic while he was rummaging through his parents' things? Was it old books, old pictures, old clothes, or an old newspaper with a headline Local girl found dead on the beach. All right, so this was a double point. So the students, the way that they got it quicker, they got some extra points, and their answer streak is, 3 in a row. So the more that they get in a row, they're on fire, okay? Next one, what is the name of the girl who drowned? Martha, Amy, Susan, James, or Bodie? All right, all right, so you can see that the student got it wrong again. So we would talk about, how Amy was the babysitter, while they were talking about Susan James when they, found her on the internet when they searched. So again, the student doesn't receive points, but they also don't lose any points either. They stay where they're at. What is the name of Derek's dog? Dodie, Spot, Clifford, or Bodie? So Bodie was correct, and so the student's going to receive some more points. How does Derek study his vocabulary words? Does he write them out, use flashcards, draw them, or he doesn't study? Okay, so the student will select, what they believe is correct, and he does draw them. Okay, he likes to draw. From our previous questions that we know that he likes to draw, so when he draws his vocab words, he is understanding them better. And the student receives some more points, and here comes the next question. What animal does Carly volunteer to take home with her over the summer? A hamster, a hedgehog, gerbil, or a turtle? All right, so this one was a little tricky. Like, this was a very detail in the book. If you weren't paying attention, a lot of classrooms have like gerbils and hamsters, okay, but they do have a hedgehog that Carly's taken home over the summer. Who is Derek's best friend? Matt, Spencer, James, or Jeremy? All right, so it was Matt. So you can see that there's, plus some more points that the student's going to go up on the podium. This is another double point one. Why does Derek offer a truce to Amy while she is babysitting? His mom told him to be nice to Amy so she would babysit him again. He needs her to help him find more information about Susan. He doesn't feel like tormenting her, or his dad threatened him to send him to camp. All right, let's see. All right, so the student did not get this one correct, so those double points don't go towards their points. But again, they also don't lose points, okay? So the correct answer was he needs her to help him find more information about Susan. All right, and here is our last question. Derek would prefer to spend his summer doing what? Visiting his aunt, reading, going to camp, or investigating Susan's death? All right, so you see how quick the student answered, and they got double points. And at the end, it goes on a podium. So if you had more than one person playing, it goes like third place, and then second place, and then first place. It will then will tell you, how many out of how many was correct. And so like the objective was to get students to get 10 out of 12 correct. Okay, that would give an 83% accuracy. So this kind of allows you to see, how well they're understanding the book and comprehending. On the teacher view, you can then hit next, and then you can see, which questions were being difficult for the students, okay? You can also hit full report, and this will bring it up of each question of how the students answered it. So the student got a 66% correct. All right, so then you can see, the players who is all playing, and there could be a list of everybody there and, their final score, the correct answer. So this is kind of like a formative assessment if you would want to use it. You can scroll through each question to see, who answered what, what did they answer? Maybe, you know, misconception of the question, or that they just didn't understand the question, or they just didn't comprehend and needed some more guidance. So that is the live view. And then I can show you, after we, you know, close this all up, we can go back, and this was the live. So we get exiting the game. Say, yep. So that was the live view. You can also make it a student paced, as well as you can assign it to them for a self-paced learning. So you can schedule it as a time, so it will not allow them to play it after any more than, let's say, Friday at 5 p.m. You can hit create, and then this way you can either copy and paste this URL and post it into, you know, the learning platform that you're using. I would be posting it in Schoology, so the students will then click on it, and then they will take them to, you know, the challenge yourself. So like I can play the challenge myself, and it's going to come up with the same questions, but this way students will be able to go through the questions themselves instead of the teacher having to hit the next button. So the same way that they would type in their name. Okay, go. And again, it would go through the comprehension quiz all over again, but this way it is their pace. And it gives them those points, and it gives it, you know, that next button. Okay. So this was the comprehension review quiz for My Life as a Book using Kahoot Review. Right, so this allows the students to be competitive with each other, but also learning and comprehending the book so far that they've read, right?